live?
Okay, we're live.
Nice. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to That Checks Out with Damon and Ted. Our special guest in the house tonight, John Cosse, who has already given me lessons on how to be funny. When I say my best, I didn't necessarily mean what I think is the best, but I think the one that works together in the 5 minutes.
No question.
That's what I mean. I think this is the funniest joke. I mean, no, the 5 minutes that works as a cohesive unit.
But let's get it right out there. Ted did a show last night at the Ralph Theater and kicked butt.
Oh, he murdered it.
He murdered
it.
So pleased.
How much is this costing me?
Yeah, no, nothing at all. And to catch you up to where we're at, we're talking about the 5 minutes.
I gotta get my calculator.
You might do
60. Okay.
Are you doing some ciphering, Jethro?
A little bit, yeah. Not double knot.
I do want to take this opportunity to think that John has given me more opportunities in comedy than I feel like I deserve, but I thank you very much. And you're going to say no, I didn't. You didn't. You did. You've been super generous and super grateful, and you've been super helpful, even though you might not agree to it. You've been a mentor to me, and I want to thank you here in front of everyone that listens to it. All 19 people. Thank you.
Yeah, both of you people.
We kid.
Congratulations.
We have listeners. I don't know how, but we have listeners in most of the U.S. states. Probably 25 countries right now. So we don't know what we're doing, but we're doing it.
But it's funny you bring this up, but what I know I've told you this. That doesn't happen unless you continue to do what you do. So you're it's all good.
Yeah,
it's all good.
This isn't a let's boost the ego of John and Ted show, because I know Damon would be just really angry.
Hey, I'm a guy. I went to a show last night.
You know what?
I was there. I was in the front.
It's probably going to be edited in later, but we spent 20 minutes listening to you brag about yourself. So guess what?
That's our extras. Thank you.
So what we usually do, John, is talk about how our week went.
Yeah.
What did you do?
This week, I went to your comedy show, which we already prefaced because we are a week behind when we record. So realistically, the drop that comes Monday, we've already congratulated Ted on a great set.
Okay.
That he did.
Oh, okay.
And we did it in a way where we could plug in case it wasn't good. We could plug in different stuff, but we're good. We're going to leave it alone.
Both sides.
We went optimistic, thank God.
Yeah, we went. That was good. We went in optimistic, I mean, I had my doubts, but we went in optimistic as a team, team. It was 50-50, negative, positive. You know what I mean? So,
and I would think it would be harder for you because you're such good friends. It's like family. You get uptight if it's not.
Yeah.
There's more pressure on you than people think.
So we talked about this last week, and the thing is, so I've seen him now at the Ralph 3 times.
Okay.
And the other 2 times we were back farther on the stage, and they had the little stage set up. Okay.
Yeah.
I bought, I think it was F1 or H1. I sat right by the microphone stand, only because if he dropped the ball, he had an easy mark that's not going to fight back, and he's not going to get his ass kicked in the parking lot afterwards. And I'll take whatever. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So I thought,
oh, that was good.
I say that, but I wouldn't do that. I've been to 2 comedy shows in the last week, John, where I was in the front row, not because I asked to be, because they put me there. And the first one, Damon was there for that one. They called us fat from the stage.
Yeah.
And then the second one, I got called out again, and I was like, "What? Why? Why would you do that? Why would
but you know what's funny about that? I did a show. This is 30 years ago, and I went to see a friend of mine in the show, and I had a striped sweater on, and the MC of the show, who didn't know me, slammed me. And I thought, this is what this feels like? It totally threw me off.
Yeah.
So I'm never abusive to anybody until they cross the line.
Right.
But I was like, you can't just go out there and slam people, because that's not right.
Yeah.
That's not right.
You're running a huge risk. Luckily for both of those comics, we get it. We're in on the joke. We didn't take offense to it.
He picked on the right table. He picked on the right table.
We could have been because
it would have been somebody else. We had a lady sitting next to us with a laptop bag, and she was in our realm. You know what I mean? So if he went to that table or another table next to him, he might have had a problem. But
you could tell, because he came up to us after the show with his tail tucked, and it was like, hey, we're cool.
He was apologizing.
Right? And we're like, no, we're not.
Yeah.
We're just kidding. We're cool. But it was like, why would you risk? I wouldn't want to go to a club and make it so now the people at the club who run the club are going to be upset because you've pissed off the audience.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because that guy leaves, he's not coming back next week, 2 weeks from now, 6 months from now. But I can go to the manager and be like, okay, well, I'm going to make your night hell because that guy on stage yelled at me and called me fat.
Yeah.
It's such a dumb move, I think.
Yeah. No, I would agree. I would absolutely agree. Well, the first time you saw him at the Row, was he featuring? Or
that was his
hosting?
first feature.
The first feature.
Yeah.
Well, last night went...
way better.
Since we're doing this 2 weeks from now, Hey, I hope you have a good show.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
No? I don't know where we're at.
We'll be in the. We're in the future. We're in the future now. It has happened.
It is the future?
I'm just going to go on record and say, John De Casa approves. That way we can take it out if we need to.
It was a lot better. It was a lot better.
It was. And it was really good.
It was really good. So,
but no, so my move last night, because when my wife called to get the tickets, for, by the way, the answer, which we gave it last week, the answer to the riddle of what do you get when you put one of your best friend's moms, your wife, and your fifth grade teacher in a van, where are you going? It's to Ted's show. That's the answer to the riddle. Okay. In case anybody didn't miss that, that was my drive up for nearly 2 hours and my drive home for nearly 2 hours. And you know what? It was awesome. So it was really cool.
So give me that. What was the conversation on the way home?
Yes, thank you.
So conversation on the way home, first off, very proud mom.
Yes. Should be.
But it was funny because she then talked. So even after Ted, they had 2 hysterical comedians come up too. I mean, the whole show was great. There was not a bad part. But of course, the feature of the night, who can get a little blue at times, and I love that. That's one of my favorite. Right. But he kept it clean because of the audience and where he's at. I know that. That was definitely a toned down show. I could tell when he was doing it. I'm like, this is toned down. You know.
Question.
However, I will say, I think they lost one audience member last night because the guy sitting right across from me was the guy who kept going, sir, you're old. And that guy did not laugh after he said that at all. And I was like, oh no, so it was kind of weird.
Okay.
His wife was cracking up, but he was not funny. He was not finding it funny at all. Yeah.
Okay.
And I thought, well, if she shows up with a toe tag tomorrow, I'm going to know who did it. I get it, but it was funny. So on the way home, and the feature,
that's a good one.
The feature made a joke about walkers and how to use them properly. Okay. And so we're driving home in my van, and Ted's mother says, Mrs. Wilson, which I'll always call her, never Sharon. Don't ask me again, Mrs. Wilson. I'm calling you Mrs. Wilson. She talks about how she has 2 walkers at home, to which my 5th grade teacher replies, even after what Uncle Larry told you, do you use them right? I lost my mind. To hear people in the back seat that I thought would not appreciate some of this stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
And they even told me after Ted was done, his mom looked at me and goes, anytime you want to go, I'm fine. She tells me, and I says, I understand that, but I want to see the feature. And he may not be for you, but I want to see him. She goes, okay, no worries.
I'm going to need you to edit this in. When you edit it in, headliner.
Yeah.
When you see that headliner. Todd was the feature.
That's right. I'm sorry. Yeah, the headliner.
Get it right, son.
Yeah.
So Ted's mom was ready to go as soon as Ted was done?
She did that when I did that feature the one time, yeah.
Yeah.
When Toomey was there.
Yeah.
Wow.
But that had a later
start.
wasn't
even that long.
No, but that had a later start to it too. This one last night was 7, so that was good.
Yeah. We were done by a couple of minutes to 8.
Yeah,
I swear I was like, these weren't always at 7, right, Brian? He's like, no, they're always at 7. I'm like, you're an idiot because there's no way.
There's no way.
Used to do, don't
the regular Lucy's was not.
It was 8, right?
It was 8 o'clock.
Yeah. So, but no, like I said, it was just funny to hear some of the callback jokes from the night from a group that I didn't think would pay much attention to that part of it. You know what I mean?
Right,
so it really, like I said, that's why the show overall was good. It reached everybody.
Right.
Right. You had 45-year-old me laughing, and you had the generation above me cracking up afterwards, ripping on each other.
Well, it's funny, and I always said all the years I've been doing this, I would like to write a book or do just about the crossing, because there's so much that happens when you cross. And when I crossed Todd Thomas, who was one of the features, he was sweating profusely.
Really?
He was like, oh, my man, they made me work. And he was dripping, and it made me laugh. You know this. Last night was a theater that held 750, but what do we have? Like 35 people.
Yeah, 30 to 50 people.
Out,
yeah.
Which, by the way, is another reason you shouldn't pick on anybody.
Right.
Because it's really, it magnifies everything.
It's a higher fraction of your audience walking out.
Yeah. I just ticked off 38% of the crowd. And it's one guy. But he was sweating, and he thought he had a horrible set. He apologized to me afterwards.
Really?
And I go, Todd, you're out of your mind. You did fine.
He killed it.
Yeah. He does. He'll see the clip because they'll get that, and that'll be good.
I'll tell you what's funny is that for people like me that don't have the experience and haven't been in the sold out rooms, I have been in some, thanks to John. But when you get a crowd like that and it is that kind of activity, I can be like, oh, this is great. Because I've seen the 9 people rooms, I've seen the 40 people rooms, and I've seen the 300 plus rooms. And I know that what it sounds like when you're actually getting that reaction out of that few people, and you can actually get that kind of reaction, like, oh, this went better than you thought.
Oh, yeah.
But the people that are used to doing sold out rooms or 100 plus and everything, when they get one of these rooms because of the situation we're in the world right now, it's not the reaction they're used to recently, and it's hard for them, I think.
But it's so funny because I have done that. I've done many theaters, but I've done that room sold out.
Yeah,
and the adjustment you make is you think you're going to do 20 minutes, and in reality, you're doing about 8 minutes of material because it just takes over.
You're pausing.
Looking at your watch, going, and now let's start the next one. Right. So, but it is funny how guys. But I couldn't stop laughing. This is horrible. And I told Todd I couldn't stop laughing because he was sweating. He was dripping.
Yeah.
And I go, man, it's not.
But he hopped around a lot.
Yeah.
He moves. He moves.
But it's funny though, because he's fit. He's super super fit. Absolutely fine. I am not. I was dressed in like 4 layers. Yeah. Came off dry as a bone.
You were dry as a bone.
Yeah. Like, that's fine. We're good. We're fine.
So I was waiting to see it on the brow.
No,
I was like, here it comes, That
used to be when I first started. It would literally be like, how many towels can I take out there? How many towels? It looks weird. And it would just be like,
Can we get a shower on stage for like an intermission?
Right. No, it was.
John runs out with a pressure washer. I got you, buddy.
Got it. It's 2,700 PSI.
I'm going to clean stuff you didn't know you want to clean.
Ted, we got you. It's all good. It's all good.
So my move last night, because the one thing his mom mentioned on the car on the way up was one of the times he did the row when he was a feature, he called out a guy on his cell phone. Or maybe you weren't a feature that night. I'm not sure. I think you were a feature.
Yeah, no, that was the same night.
Yeah, but he called because there was a guy literally sitting like one person in from the stage, and he had his cell phone. I
could have touched him. He was right in front of the microphone.
Yeah, he could have knocked the cell phone out of his hand.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
And he made some remarks, and it was hysterical. So his mom's talking about that on the way up. So my move last night had there been a crash and burn minute, which I knew there wasn't going to be, I was going to pull my cell phone out and let it light up. That was my move last night.
And the thing is, we just talked about don't call out your audience members, but when we got called out, we were just sitting there laughing along.
Correct.
And the guy was like, "Yeah, I've gotten a little fat, not quite like you." And he pointed to Damon.
Yeah.
Now,
I go like this. I'm like, a little bit.
Here's what happened.
You know?
I know if I do anything, I'm setting myself up, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to take some heat off him. So I start laughing extra hard at Damon.
Oh, he's dying.
And Damon's like, well, he could have said you too. 2 seconds later, the comedian turns to me and he's like, I could have said you too.
Yeah.
And I was like, yep, that's what we were doing.
Where was this?
The Comedy Shrine in Aurora.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Well,
yeah. I wasn't going to say.
First of all, you should go to a club.
I wasn't going to say, but yeah. So, but this guy pulled out his phone in front of me and started like scrolling on his phone right in the front. I'm like, okay, that's rude.
Oh, no question about it.
You're going to be spoken to. And especially since at the row, you're at tables across from people. So it's not like you're facing the comics. Now you're distracting 4 people that are sitting.
He's sitting. He's not even looking at the stage. He's on his phone. Because he's one table over from me when he did it.
And I was like, and my thing was, it wasn't specifically me. It was like, hey, I just want you to know you picked this seat. Yeah. Like if you weren't going to be interested, you didn't have to be here. Yeah. You chose to be there.
Good point.
Yeah. Yeah. So no, that's why. So that was my move last night. If there was a crash and burn moment, phone was coming out, turn it on. You know what I mean?
Good. And that's what friends are for.
I'm just there for support. He's never had to use me. So that tells you how good he is.
It hasn't worked the other way.
Yeah.
Ted, can you be at the last name of the podcast?
Yeah.
Ted, can you come do a podcast with
Ted,
me?
you're a great sidekick. I'll say it again. I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. You're a great sidekick.
John, did you do anything interesting this week?
No.
Is this the microphone from last night? What is happening there?
Yeah, no.
Is this my bit?
Yeah.
I was laughing so hard.
Am I moving too much?
No, you're fine.
Okay.
You're fine. You're coming in great.
Is your headphones cutting in now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, is it just me?
Brian,
I've mentioned that.
Oh, don't worry about it. That's fine. If it's just me, I don't care.
No, I've mentioned that. And he's like, it must be you. I'm like, no, it's these headphones. It's your quality headphones, sir.
And the next guy that comes in for a podcast isn't at your. Oh, it must be you. The next guy, it must be you.
I will tell you. Apparently, I was the one who turned off the mic last night inadvertently. I didn't realize it.
Really?
The way I was holding it.
Because there's a couple times it cut in and out. I'm like, well, that's kind of weird.
I guess I was holding it in a place you're not supposed to hold it, but no one told me don't hold it here.
Gotcha.
Well, yeah, it was funny because they came up to me and they go, he's holding it at the bottom. Well, he's also on stage and there's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah.
So I will take that mic off when I leave the next time. But that was it. And it was fine. It wasn't that big.
No, it was just fun. It's funny.
Yeah. It was funny the way you played it off, where you, even when it was live, you're cutting your voice in and out, and the sound guy's looking at you like, what's going on? You know? Yeah.
Don't
do that.
That's me. It was okay. It was okay. I did nothing other than comedy. It was all. We have another podcast so that we do so.
That's what I.
We need to plug. We need to plug his stuff.
Yeah, plug whatever you want to plug.
We need to.
No. I just we've been doing the Steve Cochran live from your office since we both left WGN. So we did that, and we've been doing that So, and I still am writing stupid songs and doing characters for him. So it's okay. But this was twofold. That's why I wanted to do this. No offense to you guys.
Yeah.
I thought this was
No,
good.
you said you wanted to come in and see what it's like.
I wanted to see what this was because we do this. We have done it a couple of times at the River.
Okay.
Radio station is it in Aurora? I think it is.
Yeah.
And but he's so used to, Steve was on the radio for 35 years. We did it at GN. It was, 2 producers and all these, whatever. But the podcast it's a little different. And so I wanted to see what you guys, and I'm so glad I brought my laundry.
Yeah. Yeah.
No. This is actually nice. It is good. I apologize to you, Brian.
I don't do laundry.
Hey, but Brian, if you could pick up on, we need a second producer if you learned anything from that speech, we're going to need somebody with,
Next
shows up,
next
turns
studio.
on the air conditioner
awkward.
earlier. We did this, John, in Damon's basement. We tried for like 6 months.
Okay.
to have a baby. Oh, sorry. Wrong thing.
Whoa.
No, to do a podcast.
Hey, whatever you guys
we said we weren't.
to each his own.
Said we weren't going to talk about that, but we couldn't. We got so frustrated because we couldn't get it to work right. The mics were in sync and everything.
Yeah.
And so by the time we actually would get it to record, our energy was awful. Our sound was terrible. It was. We came in here the first day. Everything was set up. Ryan had it professionally. Then, well, all we had to do was sit down and talk. Totally different experience and environment. It was so much better
when you're not worried about how the mic's picking up and how it sounds.
Correct.
Because we recorded a lot of stuff that it's one take. Because you can't have that back. If you have energy once,
question.
To fake it the next time, it sucks.
Well, and I can tell you, and I couldn't agree more. All the years that I've done radio, and I would do characters, and I would say something off the air.
Mm-hmm.
And this would happen when I do stand up, because every city that you do stand up, you have to go on the radio to promote it.
Yeah.
You have to plug it on a Friday morning, whatever. And I will say something just like we're talking with, during a commercial break, and they'll go, "Oh, do that again when we're." No, that was.
Yeah.
And I'm not a pain about it, but I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Something else will come up. I hate repeating that.
No, because it's magic. It is, and it comes out once. And when you're quick witted and you're fast on your feet,
something else will come down the road. We're going to be fine.
Yeah.
We're going to be fine.
Yeah. That was.
but we would record and play it back, and it would pick up my voice or not his, or his voice not mine, and we would just be so angry and be like, "Well, I don't want to do it anymore." We gave up. We gave up for a year, and then he found this place.
A year or two, I think.
Yeah.
Then we found here.
Yeah. When I started back in the 80s and we would do radio, the host would have you write out the jokes that he was to lead you in. And I hated that. And I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it. I go, and he's like, well, no, this is, just trust me.
Yeah.
So it's not, we're not going to fail here.
Yeah.
But I found out later they were doing that more for them because they didn't really know.
Yeah.
They did. They were confident.
Correct. Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah.
They're not.
As we know, we had Chad Daniels on a couple weeks ago, and he does on his podcast when his partners, Cy, would be out, and he'd bring in guest people. He would do that. He would pretend to be a radio host and have them
Moose in the morning.
Yeah, it'd be Moose in the morning to make fun of all that. Like, hey, you're doing promotion for your show. So
good.
This would be a whole thing. Like, instead of trying to awkwardly get into their stories, they would just pretend like this is what they had set up and everything.
He'd interview himself into it. He'd interview himself into it. Yeah. So it was a good bit.
It was a really good thing. Yeah. It was funny. Like, and a lot of people like Bozeman was on there. Pat McGann was on there. So, and they'd be telling stories, and I'd be like, I know that. I've been there. I've been in that place. Like, they were telling stories about Pheasant Run and how weird that building was and how awkward it'd be to work there. And you have to run through a barn to get up on stage.
Yeah.
It was just like, I know. I've seen this.
I was there.
It was just fun. Like,
I'm a guy.
It was fun to spend so much time listening to his podcast to finally be like, I can relate to this. This was it.
That's so good.
But he was great. He came on. He had a great time. It was fun. So
now you might be working with some more theaters here pretty soon, right? Doing some work.
Yeah, they're opening up at different times. The Metropolis in Arlington Heights is another one that I work with. The Beverly Arts Center on the South Side, and the Copley Theater, which is in Aurora, which is the smaller sister stage to the Paramount.
Really?
Yeah, and Jim Jarvis, who runs that, Jim and I go way back, and they're trying to do a similar thing to the Row. They call them cafe series, and I think the room only holds about 190. Yeah. But it's a beautiful little theater. I did a show with Pat McGann there. I booked Pat McGann in there as well. So those are that should be starting in September.
Nice.
That should be starting in September.
Yeah, because they generally take a summer break from this because people are out doing other stuff, right? I mean, they're not trying to push it, or is it something because they're slow rolling it from COVID?
I think it's a little bit of that.
Okay.
Because I don't think people know how people are going to react, even though we opened up yesterday.
Right.
Okay. The other thing is a lot of like the Paramount in Aurora does a whole summer concert series outside.
Mm-hmm.
So that takes everything inside takes a back seat until September. Metropolis is doing, for the first time ever, they're doing a tent outside.
Really?
Yeah, just for this summer. And I think
that's a great time to put a tent outside.
Yeah, they picked a hell of a summer.
Same way. You are, Damon, you are nailing the head because I'm like, wow. And it's, but I think they're going to, they're going to have one show play this summer.
Okay.
What's that? The plant that eats.
Oh, Little Shop of Horrors.
Little Shop of Horrors. Yeah. Because it's an in-house production and they can just lay it out there and whatever. But I think they're going to regret it. And I'm not saying anything out of, because I just told them this on a Zoom this week, because we opened up.
Yeah.
They could have just saved themselves all of that and just done the inside. Because it's a 340 seat theater. It's a nice setup.
It's a gorgeous theater, yeah.
It is.
The first time I went there, I was like, wow, this is nice. It was great. I went there with Pat McGann and they had a stage because we were just one night and they had something set up for something else. I'm there ahead of time. They talk to me. They say some stuff. Packets. They're like, hey, don't go past this point because this is just fake. You'll fall right through. They hadn't told me that. Now, I'm like two Pat McGanns put together.
Yeah.
I would have just, and that would have been the end of it. Well, that's all right. Bring up our next comedian. I was just like, how are you not going to tell a guy that?
Yeah.
Like, I get protecting Pat, but.
It's funny, though. That's the advantage of stand-up is that, and I find they can book us, and it's a microphone.
Yeah.
I've played in front of Oliver, Christmas Carol, you name it.
Yeah.
I've done shows in front of it. It always makes me laugh. It's an easy fix.
Yeah, because last time we did it at the Row, I think they were doing Our Town or something because they had like a little like town behind it. So it looked like it looked like we were doing Gulliver's Travels because we're out doing stand up in front of this tiny little town.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's true. It is true.
Yeah, you're larger than life when you get that mic in front of you. You're good.
But that's part of the fun is it's so many different places and stages and things like that.
Well, let me ask you this because we were talking about your hometown of Wilmington.
Yeah.
So where I'm amazed, Wilmington is not a, what's the word I'm looking for? Shoot, I can't think of the name of it. They're like Pontiac is they have a big courthouse in the middle. There's a name for those places.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're towns that county seat.
Yes.
Okay. So county seat.
Right.
So we are in the process. I'm in the process of setting up these shows for 2022 called Men of a Certain Rage, which basically is our age guys.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm going to only county seats because every county seat has a theater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just have more of a downtown, more of a, So Wilmington, other than this place that we will not mention, tonight,
they have the Mar Theater. It's set up like a theater.
It's a movie theater.
It's a movie theater,
but do
they have a stage. They have a stage in there too.
Okay,
because back in the day, that was entertainment in there too. They had a stage. It's old and it's very. I
have actually done a show on that stage with a comedian from Branson.
Yeah,
we were doing
with Terry,
charity,
right?
Yeah, we were doing a charity event for my dad's scholarship.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But they don't have like I know you're saying like a Playhouse theater or anything like that. They don't have that.
No, but
kind of
that's
setup.
okay. At least they have, that's.
They have adequate seating, and it's all it's theater seating, so you're all elevated, so you can see the stage and see everything. It's different than maybe sitting in a bar and sitting in chairs on the floor, and everybody's trying to look over everybody's head.
Well, here's another. This is a separate. We probably should talk about this off the air, but it's another angle. Is that we just go ahead and produce a show there, at that theater.
I know the proprietors and stuff there. I'm sure you might too, but we can
load that up.
Did we bring my dog? Because
proprietors. We are looking for gold later. I know the proprietors of that property.
I don't. You use that word. I don't know if you know what it means.
But no, I think anything there would be great because movie theaters are going to be slow go.
Oh no,
coming back. So if they could get some kind of show in there and sell their snacks and everything else, and you know what I mean? Yeah. So that would be pretty cool, actually. Yeah. So if it's something you think you might want to set up, we can help facilitate that too.
That might be the angle you go with, and nobody's listening, right? Nobody
No,
knows.
no. Well,
yeah,
hey, both people that are listening, cover your ears. We're talking right now.
Yeah.
La, 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 la,
This is
la.
why we talked about doing live stuff, and we're like, man, we have to edit so much stuff. Not because we mess up, but there's stuff we'll say and be like, that's not for public, and we'll have to take that back out.
So my big thing is once this becomes a sweatshop in here,
Yes.
my nose starts running. I start going all the time in the microphone.
Oh,
so
okay.
when I'm going through editing, I'm listening for my own stupid face making stupid sounds. That's what I'm looking for, you know?
Okay.
And hopefully I'm doing it when someone else isn't talking so that I don't cut out. It's like, what did he say? You know, be like the mic last night when it cut out, you know, it's
Right,
like,
right.
well, he went from this to now he has a dog. I don't know what happened, you know? So it's kind of weird, you know? Yeah. But it's true.
You don't have to worry about that.
Why?
Like you can cut out sniffles even when other people are talking. It's magic.
I forgot
can do
Brian
it.
was in here. Hi, Brian.
Yeah.
Hey,
How you
Brian,
doing?
thanks for joining us, Brian.
I normally talk a lot more in this. I mean, not really.
Yeah.
But definitely more.
Yeah, he says a lot of, wait, what?
Yeah. Wait, what? That's his favorite saying. Yeah. It's his favorite
Hey,
saying.
Brian, are you awake
I
back
can
there?
slack
Hey,
off
Brian,
and pee
I tell you
now.
what, before we go any farther, Brian, how's your stocks doing?
No.
Hold on, I gotta look.
No.
It seems like you're saying no.
I take the ostrich approach.
Yeah.
You know, just stick my head in the sand.
Yeah. Well, I just want to know because if they're good, I don't want to hear any more. But if they're terrible, I want to talk about it.
Okay.
Wow.
That's how we do it here.
He
The
came in here.
support.
He came in here really proud one day, and so the next week we're like, "How they're doing?"
Oh, that's not good. Yeah. That's not good.
Yeah,
Not good
so
at all.
That was your fault for throwing that softball up, man. You should have kept it to yourself until you made some money.
Wow.
So when his wait what is usually because he's Googling something for himself or looking at his stocks.
Oh, okay.
So we're like, hey, Brian. He's like, wait, what?
Yeah, we'll be going really good. Like we're like, all right, we need a deciding factor on this. Brian, what do you think? Wait,
Wait.
I'm almost back to zero.
You're almost back to zero?
Yeah.
So you're still in the red?
Yeah.
All right, cool. That makes me feel better about stuff.
Oh my God.
I've got to say, like Damon said, we found this place. Well, I'm not even going to say we. He found this place on Google. He did all of that legwork. We came in here. Brian has been absolutely great to us. He's been super phenomenal. He has put up with all of our shenanigans, all of our crap. We do give him a lot of crap. We do expect him to be professional. So don't think don't think you're getting out, Brian. But we really do need to thank him. He's been an integral part of getting this off the ground.
We did not know him before this.
Yeah.
So we've had a year with him, a little over a year, and he's just grown into, you know, we were using him initially to solve bets or solve, you know, issues and you know.
Right,
so
right.
if he thinks one way, I think one way, then Brian, well, what do you think? What do you think, Mac? You know what I mean? So we call him Big Mac because he's Brian Mac Kender. Mac Kender?
Mackinder.
Damn it.
You
I
always
try
get that wrong.
every time.
Every time.
Wow.
Well, here's the problem.
I even knew it was Mackinder.
Come on.
I just got here. This is so sad.
John's a professional.
Welcome back.
The
That
problem
checks
is-
out.
We know Brian from comedy,
Yes.
from Zanies. My boss is named Brian. This guy's Brian. I think Tina's changing her name to Brian. The paperwork's in processing.
Weird.
But
Probably not a bad
It's now
idea.
Titan's middle name.
Yeah.
Your dog is like Titan Brian. He goes by Brian.
he was very upset that I told people about his Ugg boot last night.
The dog snubbed him when he got home.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, he knew. I heard you talk about my Ugg boot. I don't want to talk about it. It's so funny though. They did have to
I
shave
know
his
that's
leg.
what it looks like when they
Yeah,
say
and it's just one because he has that like natural hair. It's not fur. It's just all it looks. It's just hilarious. Now when we first did it and it looked like when they went straight down to the bone, I couldn't even look at him. Like, oh, you look like a zombie dog.
Yeah.
He's growing a little bit of
Yeah.
hair back around it, so
Okay.
now it's not as like. Ugh.
Makes their legs are really skinny.
Yeah. Well, the worst part though is they actually had to shave his butthole because that's where the actual problem was.
Oh,
So it's just like an
okay.
angry eye, like just beating bleeding
But
all the
seriously,
time.
who hasn't been there?
Yeah.
Right? Am I right?
Well, usually there's more fur, and I can pretend.
Hello.
It's usually the role play when there's more hair.
Right.
Yeah, you look like a one-eyed Ewok. I'm cool with that. But when you look like it's a bald butthole, I don't want to see that. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. Brian's also good for just like totally just reacting to one of us and making the other one break.
Yeah. Good. Well, it's funny. I'll say something and I'm like, I finally got Mac, and he's red because he's like, I knew we were going there, but when he started dying, I went ahead. You know,
We can make each other laugh. When you make someone else who has never been like, doesn't get our private jokes, hasn't been there.
Yeah.
If you can bring them on board, it's fun.
Yeah.
But that said, Brian, as soon as we get big, I don't know you anymore. Yeah. You were behind me for a reason.
Wow.
The bus can be much bigger. You're going to be much farther away in the
So
back.
this is the last show. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
pleased to be on the last show. This is pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know if you knew this. It was twofold for us because now we're just going to piggyback off you. So
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. It's all good.
Hey, you need a sidekick? You got a podcast?
Yeah, this would be great. Damon, are you available?
Yeah, thank
This
you.
would be good.
I will tell you though,
He chose the right one.
that John did put me on one of Steve's live shows.
Yeah.
And that was, everyone was so welcoming and everything because that you didn't need to do that, but it was so much fun.
Yeah, but you know, but this is so funny. I did, but I did it. This is because I get a lot of pleasure when people don't think highly of you or there's an issue.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, we're going to change that. We're going to let's make this happen. And you had another good set.
Yeah, it was so
that was
much
good
fun
too.
Yeah, Steve was so, and that's one of my favorite parts is that after between my set and Steve's set, who else was there? Was Toomey there or someone else? But it doesn't matter. There was people in between. We were back in the back hall just talking like old friends. He welcomed me in. It was a great conversation. He could have ignored me the whole time, but he didn't. Super sincere, super genuine guy. And that's my favorite part of these shows is the hanging out, the green room, the talking, the commiserating. All of that is so much fun. And you don't feel a nice guy.
You don't feel deserving of it.
Well, it's not like I don't feel deserving of it. It's just like if you're a nice guy and you're just genuine, you can fit in with that. You don't have to like the people. There's people that come in, and John can attest to this. That come in and think they have to be on the entire time they're back there, and think they have to own that room. And we're all here for the same thing, man. We don't need to impress anyone. We can just have. If you crack a joke and we all laugh, great. But you don't have to try to do it every 2 seconds in this room. So,
well,
that's good.
I went. I know I said 5th grade teacher. I took her with us, but actually went to like one of our middle school teachers' house this week and picked up a bunch of rocks. Okay, so I've really been in the school back in grade school.
Did he not teach you, Tom?
Man, you guys have so much fun.
Yeah, so I go there. Well, here's the deal.
He
technically saved my life because you see the size of me. Okay. I went there. I got there at 11. I said, I got an hour worth of work to do. No, I didn't. Okay. So I was working. It's 12:30. Sun's right overhead. It's about 89 degrees outside.
Yeah.
I am soaked through like I just got out of the pool with my shirt on. You know what I mean?
Oh, did you do a Todd Thomas set? Is that
No. But I might have been. I didn't see him when he came on.
Very good.
Yeah.
I was listening.
Good callback.
Todd, call me. We need guests. Yeah. So anyway. So I laughed because I bent down once real quick and came up and I got dizzy. And I said, I'm going to go get a drink of cold water. So I get a drink of wine water. I come back over. I'm like, I'm fine. I do like 2 more. And he goes, I think we need to go inside and cool off like that. And I go, no, I don't. I said, I'm almost done. And he goes, correct. You are almost done for good. We are going to go inside and cool off. And I was like, he saw something I didn't see. I don't know if I got white or whatever else. But I mean, I was really, because I was pushing. I was pushing and I was trying to get it done because he stayed outside to BS with me, which I thought was cool, But I also didn't want him to have to stay outside. I said, you can go. He goes, no, I'm comfortable. Don't worry about it.
As a homeowner, I don't think he was saving your life so much as not trying to make his insurance go up.
He just saw premiums.
Yeah,
he's like, oh,
hey,
man.
Either come in and cool off or go to the neighbor's house.
That's an interesting point.
Yeah, well, because he probably had a roof claim in the
what
last
were the
couple.
rocks for? Why were you picking up
So
rocks?
they're large stones. So probably they weigh, I don't know, anywhere from 25,
so far
some of the biggest ones.
The question.
Well, they're for me to take home because they match my rocks. Okay.
Yes.
So yes. I have the 3/4, the large gravel of the heritage. So it has the reds and the blues and this and that in there.
Okay.
These are reds and blues heritage, but they're large stones. There's some in there that are quite large.
Okay.
They probably weigh 35, 45 pounds. Okay.
So where are you putting these? Are these garden rocks or these driveway rocks?
No, these aren't, they're larger rocks. So they're more accent rocks.
Okay. Okay.
So, but as I'm getting these and putting them on the truck, I really felt like crap. But he told me, he goes, let me help you. And I said, no, you already moved them over here. You moved them once. I said, I'm going to take care of this. It's fine. And I guess it was not fine. So I was like, when we got inside, I said, I think you just saved my life, but I'm not sure,
Wow.
And he looks at me and he goes, man, you looked rough. And I was fine. We were inside for a while. We were chatting. It's great. We got a lot of stuff in common as adults that you don't, because now Ted growing up in a principal household and teacher household,
right?
He got more of the behind the curtain side of what teachers are. You know what I mean? Like when they shut the faculty lounge door. And back then, you could just chain smoke in there in the school, But they'd shut that door. Us regular students that didn't go home with a principal as a dad, you know what I mean, and a teacher as a mom, we didn't see that side of them. So to sit there and have a conversation with somebody that I really looked up to him in school, but I'm like, this is crazy. I mean, it was just good talk.
I will say this might sound like a corny Lifetime special, but I think it's great that you were finally getting to see this because, like you said, I saw this my whole life. They weren't just your teachers and my teachers; they were my parents' friends.
Yeah.
So they would come over for holidays and parties, and we'd go to their house, and I'd swim in their pools in the summer and stuff. Because somehow, even though they were teachers, they had more money than my parents. I can't figure that out yet. I want to know what kind of scam we could have gotten in on,
right?
Especially 30 years ago. But no, they're really great people, and you just only saw them as teachers, so you didn't have that same thing. So the fact that you're making those connections, even though it's this much later, I think that's cool because he's one of the nicest guys.
Yeah.
He's actually authored some books. So he's a kind of like a Dave Barry level comedian. Like he does like writing is his forte for funny stuff. So, and he was always one of our like he said, our favorite teachers. And it's just great that you get to see like what he's like. I know
I'm seeing behind the curtain,
but
I'm behind the curtain
cool.
now.
Yeah.
You know, so
that's good.
It's kind of cool. And so, but I sat down. I'm like, yeah, I think you did. You know, like that. And he just looks at me and he's like, you didn't look so hot. And I'm like, well, I couldn't see if I was white as a ghost. I couldn't tell.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
I'm outside, and again, I'm in the sun. I'm probably red as a ghost. You know what I mean? Not as white as a ghost.
Well, and it was hot. I mean,
it was hot. It was terrible.
We had a couple of 90 plus. So.
Yeah, this was on Thursday. I did that. So yeah, it was like 89 degrees.
Humidity high, everything.
Oh yeah,
it's like, come
so
on.
it was a perfect mixture for a Damon grabber. You know what I mean? So I was like, I was borderline. I was approaching probably.
I can't wait for August if this is June. August is going to be the surface of the sun.
I know.
Yeah, it's
usually
crazy.
This doesn't hit till we have a complete sprinkler system built into our lawn.
Okay.
And normally it doesn't go on until like the middle of July. We've had it on pretty much every day.
Yeah.
Because we just haven't had the rain. So it's but we do have rocks if you want to come over. I don't know if they're heritage.
Yeah.
But,
John's like, you're not allowed in the house, so don't kill yourself in my driveway.
Let me explain. If you're going to keel, you're going to do it on your own.
Yeah, we're going to drag you into the street because I just got a roof 2 years ago. A second claim's going to kill my premium.
Yes.
I'll tell you, I've been to John's driveway twice. It's lovely. It's a lovely driveway. You should check it out.
So maybe we need to go there after dark. And I'll get some
wait
rocks.
a minute.
I was in your old house.
Yes, he was in the old house, but he was because of the pandemic.
Yeah,
nobody came in.
Yeah.
So, and I was actually going to have you and Brian meet me at the house last night.
Not you.
No, actually, yes, Brian.
Mac, sit down.
I'm done
You're
with
wrong, Brian.
I am done with the other Brian. So,
As we should be.
but and I was going to have you guys meet me there last night because then you could have come in for the first time. And
We should have done. Well, why didn't we do that? Was it timing? What was that problem?
the more I thought about it, I'm like, why am I doing this?
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
I want to have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm the guy that continues to meet people farther away from my house to go to the same thing we're already going to. Like this.
It's a pattern.
Yeah.
It's a definite pattern.
Well, although I would have been on the way.
Well, I'm saying when I go to Brian's house.
Okay.
Like I go to Brian's house and it adds like 40 minutes round trip.
Yeah.
To this. Like, why do I do this?
Yeah, and when you were at the old house, you ended up. What was the timing on that? You ended up talking to my wife for 40 minutes.
Yeah, I showed up. Well, I never know.
Were you
with
freshening
traffic
up
and everything? Yeah, he was
doing your makeup.
I think, but
you were,
the timing
you were
was
either going
off.
in the shower or coming out of the shower because I just see your head in the like the downstairs window and you're like, I can't come out and get you right now. Just come on.
And I was laughing because this has happened to me several times where the other comic shows up way earlier than and I'm not a late guy. I'm usually ahead of but it always cracks me up. I'm like, I can't, no.
Yeah,
I was having naked time. Go back home.
Naked time is important to me.
If you tell me to be somewhere at 5, I'm usually in the area around 4:45, so I can time it out. So I don't know if you're like, you might have been padding because you're like, well, these comics are idiots. They never show up on time. I'm going to tell them half an hour early. So then I show up 45 minutes early. And now you're like, what the hell is this guy doing here?
Maybe.
What's this guy, an a-hole? Like, why is he here?
Yeah.
So, but I had a lovely
get here
conversation with your
before me
wife.
all the time.
Yeah, we beat Brian all the time.
Yeah.
They beat me today.
We're just weird. We like, my mom was, if my mom was a minute late, the rest of her day was ruined. She hated it so much. So it was so ingrained. Like, if someone says to be at their house at 5 o'clock, you're looking at your watch at the door and ding. Like, you can't do it now because everyone's doorbells tell them when you're there now.
Right.
But back in the day, you could literally just wait on the porch and be like, are we going to ring the doorbell? Not yet. Wait for it. Wait for it. Go. And yeah, it was so crazy.
So he texted me this morning. He goes, I might be early. I said, cool. I said, I'm upstairs. I'm ready. I'm upstairs in the loft and the front door's open. I said, just come in. I said, make your way past the homeless looking guard dog. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So I have a terrier and she needs to go be trimmed. And so she looks like when she's out in the front yard, people want to pick her up and take her to like a shelter.
Yeah, you're hoping.
And I'm like,
I think that's a plan.
And I'm like, really, let it grow out more. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, but anyway, so I tell him that, and literally within like 2 minutes, and I tell Nicole, I go, hey, Ted will be here early today, and the dog starts going ballistic at the door, and I'm like, oh, Ted's here now. And I see him walking up. Did you text me from the road?
No, translate, I might be early was I was already in your driveway. And I was letting you know I was there.
Yeah. Well, and I went ahead and Googled Map, whatever I did. I Googled how far this was. Mm-hmm. But I made sure I left.
So last night? Yeah.
Yeah, I went right after the show. I stayed at the Quarantine Inn, which is right down the street on 30. No, I got here.
Bring your own sheets.
I brought my own and utensils, by the way. Thank God I had utensils. But I knew my plan was to get here about, 8:30 to 8:40, and it's exactly what,
Yeah, you were right on.
It worked out. It worked out really well. And actually, I came through the back.
Yeah.
You told me to go around, but the directions took me.
You got lucky because when I first got here, I was in that parking lot down there.
Oh,
Yeah,
Because there's a studio that was probably there, I think, in '84, and they never took the sign down. So I'm like, maybe this is it. So
Oh, okay.
he's like, I'm up here, look for me. I'm looking over here in the front parking lot. I'm like, I'm looking up. I couldn't see. He's like, no, you're not. You're not looking up.
Go,
He's
turn
like,
your head to the left.
And
And
I
he goes,
look over.
oh, there you are. I'm watching him.
how did I miss this? Right?
Oh, wow. No, that's hysterical.
Yeah. I was like, I am looking at the parking lot. He's like, look left. And I maybe moved my head maybe a degree. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
you're right there.
And Brian, may I ask you, what is the name of this place?
Audiohive Podcasting.
Okay, so I was looking for the name.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, I had the option to get my name up on that new sign
Okay.
about a month ago, but I'm cheap. And she wanted
Okay.
a bunch of money, and I'm only going to be here for a couple more months.
okay.
So
I made him a sign with just his logo and his initials because for reasons he didn't want necessarily everyone to know what kind of equipment he had in here.
right, that's the other
And
thing.
he
too.
leaned it up in the window. It's a metal sign. He could drill into that wood piece that's above
Somebody
his door.
might take it.
You know the street value of that aluminum?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah,
That's a
that
good
composite
point.
aluminum.
That's a good point.
It's a good point.
If it was made out of wood, you'd have an argument. Aluminum's trash right now.
Actually, that's true. Wood is a lot
Oh,
more
my
expensive.
Yeah. Put a deck board up there.
Yeah.
Somebody will take it in a second.
But I thank God you came. You were. I
know. He's like, "Is that John?" And I was like, I stood up and I was,
He goes. He drives an Edge. We drive
oh,
a
it's
Flex.
flex. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
flex.
So, but I saw the Ford slow rolling, and I thought either we need to duck or John's here.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's a drive-by. It's drive-by. Saturday morning drive-by. Yeah, but I saw right. I'm like, okay,
yeah, because this is not easy to find if
There
you don't
used
know.
to be a big giant green sign that said Payday Loan Store, and I'd tell people to look for that, but it's gone now.
Yeah, they moved out.
Yeah.
When
They
the payday
shut
loan
down.
store doesn't make it, Brian, I think that's a sign.
No.
Well, and I'll be honest. When you're in the same strip mall,
Stripping mall?
yeah, stripping mall.
Bam, bam,
That's what I'm
bam, bam.
talking about.
imagine the podcasts I get then.
Yeah, yeah. You'd just have a pole and 4 microphones.
Yeah.
That's all you'd have.
Next.
This is the same guy that wanted to. What was your yoga idea? What was the name of it?
Froyo.
Yeah, it's a yogurt side on one. It's a yogurt bar on one side with a two-way mirror, so guys can watch women do yoga and hot yoga on the other
Voyo,
side.
Froyo. That's
Yeah.
what it was. Voyeur yoga.
Oh, that's good.
Because here's what I think. People pay for yoga classes, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'll just run through this real quick, and I won't waste too much time, Ted, because you guys were all out on it.
Oh, I was out early.
But here's the deal. You know how when they have the police interrogation two-way mirror?
Yes.
Do you know how many tickets you could sell on the other side of that yoga class? You could triple your money to just guys that want to sit back there and enjoy a yoga class. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would agree with
And you're
that.
offering them yogurt.
And we had frozen yogurt too. So it was Voyeur yoga, Froyo. I thought the name was awesome. Yeah, it was great.
Wow.
And yet
Oh, I thought the name was fantastic.
well, yeah, because you came up with it.
Yeah, right.
Jerk.
I'm pretty good at naming your garbage businesses. That's my job.
Yeah. What I do is I come in, I go, I got this, and then he's like, he'll blurt out a couple names like, that's the one. You know?
Oh, that's good.
What's funny, and I'm pretty sure she doesn't listen to it, so it's okay. The other day, I mean, probably a couple months ago, my wife was like, my sister's trying to go on her own and wants a business name. Do you think you could come up with any ideas? And I'm like, oh, no, that's really not my strength. I'm not good at that.
Yeah. If you listen to the podcast, that's his strength.
That's how I knew. That's how I knew, because we had just done like a string of 15 episodes in a row where he'd come in with a business and I would name it on the spot.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, do you think you could do anything? Do you think you're pretty good at that? No, I'm not really good at that. Sorry.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, I've only met your wife one time.
To be fair, like I said, hey, I got that show coming Friday. She's like, oh, am I supposed to go to that? I'm like, well, if you're going to ask me like that, then no, you don't need to go to it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, no, I'll have people there. I brought 6 old people. So I
That
was like,
seems like a rhetorical
I was
question.
like an 8 to that crowd.
I gotta be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah. Oh, am I supposed to be there? Well, no. I mean, there's no legal.
Lowered expectations.
yes. That's good. That's good. That's good. Wow. Yeah, I thought when you said you had people coming, I thought, okay, maybe.
And I want to be fair. If I said, hey, yeah, I'd like you to be there, she would go. But you know how it is. Like,
Well, and if he drives another way to hop in the car with Brian, then it
now we're taking 2 cars.
and
it's not right.
it's not worth it. You know.
And Brian did say, hey, if you want to, Brian was willing to go by himself, which I think he wanted to see Preston. That's the thing. our friend Preston was there. He's been out for a little bit, and he came to the show, so it was good to see him. But Brian said, like, hey, if you want to come up with your family, and I was like, no, Damon's going to Wilmington to pick up my mom. That is not on the way. I will still come to you.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just funny. Like, she's like, oh, am I supposed to go to that? I'm like, I don't think so. I think they'll let me do it even if you don't show up.
Yeah.
Well, my wife only attends New Year's Eve shows. And I don't think it's for me. I think it's because we have my son play music. So it's like, she'll come by and whatever. But she used to come all the time. But I'm 40 years into this.
Right.
It's old hat now.
Well, I think if I was in my early 20s and this was something like, oh, I think I'm going to make something out of this, she'd be more supportive. But we all know I'm in my mid 40s.
Yeah, 4, 5, 6.
Thank you.
Mids. 4, 5, 6.
So yeah, it's the thing. But she did sneak into a few shows when I did Zanies because there's pictures.
623.
Yeah. I don't think that's a name.
I don't know what is that.
Are you Noah?
Did you just flash a gang sign? What are you doing right now?
Yeah, I was doing a drive-by.
623, yo.
623, Mof. Definitely do it.
Someone from that area code is going to call us upset.
Yeah, I know.
You guys stole my bet. Damn it. Damn it. That was my angle.
She snuck into some Zany shows because there's pictures of me up on stage that she took, and I'm like, I didn't know what, because Brian would let her in the, like you'd come in the back door. And,
yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we had so much fun with John DeCoste. We broke it into 2 episodes for you, dropping them back to back. This is the end of part 1. Check us out right after this for part 2.
That Checks Out was recorded at Audiohive Podcasting in Joliet, Illinois. Audiohive Podcasting is a studio dedicated to podcast recording, editing, and production. You can find out more information at audiohivepodcasting.com.